Hello, welcome. Today is a bit of a bonus reaction actually, because this is one I wouldn't usually do, but I'm interested, so I thought I may as well. We're going to be looking at Counterstrike 2 and just seeing what there's a couple of new videos that Valve have put out about it, and I've heard there's quite a bit of hype around it, so I'm really interested to have a look. In terms of Counterstrike, I'm pretty familiar with CS:GO, for example. I wouldn't say it's something that many people will be much more experienced than I am. I've played it a bit, but not a huge amount. Super interested to see what they're doing here, though. I've heard bits and pieces of what these videos are about, and it's intrigued me. So let's go into it. We're going to be looking at 3 videos that Valve have put out, and then we'll also take a look at a website that's to kind of accompany these and give us a bit more detail. So, excuse me if I keep touching my nose. For some reason, my nose is really itchy. Let's just jump right into it. Let's see what this is about. This first one is, oh my god, what's going on with my nose? This first one is Counter-Strike 2, moving beyond the tick rate. Let's have a look.
Counter-Strike is known for its visceral and...
What a voice. First of all, what a voice. 10 out of 10. Let's get back into it.
Counter-Strike is known for its visceral and satisfying gunplay. Now, firing a weapon looks pretty simple. You click your mouse, your character shoots, your target takes damage. But there's a...
Are we already looking at new visuals here, or am I just misremembering how kind of like vibrant the game is? I seem to, in my mind, when I think of Counter-Strike, I think of it as being quite dull, if that makes sense. Like this seems like contrast has been turned up, so that sort of brightness.
A lot more happening behind the scenes. In previous versions of Counter-Strike, the game only evaluated moving and shooting in discrete time intervals, or ticks, and time between those ticks didn't exist. For the most part, the experience was seamless, but sometimes those milliseconds between click and tick could be the difference between landing or missing your shot. That's why with Counter-Strike 2, we're introducing sub-tick updates. Now the tick rate no longer matters for moving and shooting, so the server will know the exact moment you fired your shot.
So what's interesting about this? I don't know how they've gone about doing that, to be honest. Like how they've separated the server ticks versus the input. But if you're not 100% sure about this particular part, what it's saying is every tick is one of these lines, and when the game receives an input, so let's say they receive this, character goes left, and if it's after one of these ticks that happens, it won't be registered until the next tick. So the inputs are only registered on the next tick over. Sometimes that can be like here, where it's like really close, so it's like imperceptible. But sometimes it can be like here, where it's like right after the last tick, like just after the last tick. Again, it's not hugely perceptible, but it can be noticeable, especially in a competitive environment. So this is really interesting. So what they're kind of proposing here is scrap the whole tick thing for registering movements, and just take the input, like the server takes the input as the input is received. It's not just checking every tick. That's my understanding of it. If I'm wrong there, if I'm misunderstood, let me know down in the comments, or if there's more info there that I'm missing so far. Let's continue.
The tick rate no longer matters for moving and shooting, so the server will know the exact moment you fired your shot, jumped your jump, or peeked your peek, and the server will calculate your precise actions between ticks. So what you see is what you get.
Ooh. That's interesting. I assume this is what we're going to come on to in another video a little bit more, so I won't talk about it too much, but the smoke. First of all, look how it's deforming when they're shooting at it, and when the grenade goes off, it clears it. I don't think that was a thing before, especially not the shooting through it. That wasn't definitely a thing. I'm pretty sure you couldn't use a grenade before, though, to clear smoke. I know you could use the smoke to clear like a Molotov, for example, like to suppress the fire, basically, but not vice versa. This is cool. All right, let's continue. summer 2023. That's like, what is that? Is that like 2 months away? That's soon. But the music is banging. I'm into the music. This Molotov effect at the end here. Is this what it looks like to have a Molotov thrown at you, or is this just an effect that they added for this video as a way of transitioning? Look at that! It's like it's like a flamethrower. Cool. Okay, I'm into that. That's kind of interesting. That's interesting tech. Obviously we got like a peek at what I think is a different, like they've changed the colors a little bit, or maybe it's the lighting or something like that. I don't know. I don't think they've, at least from what I could tell, I'm not familiar enough with the game to know if any of the maps that were shown there were structurally different. There's a couple that looked upgraded, like uplifted, I suppose you could say. Cool. All right, let's move on to the next one. We've got Counterstrike 2, leveling up the world. Here we go. I'm excited about this now. Just to say, sorry to interrupt immediately, I nerd out on this kind of stuff. I love, even if it's a game that I don't even play, or if it's a technology that I don't use, I love learning about it and seeing what they're doing. Especially here with Counterstrike, I think this is really interesting. Like everything they do with Counterstrike is very pivotal, because if they push forward a certain advancement, such as the sub-tick updates, I think they called it. If that works out and it's really good, that's going to inspire other games and other sort of, other games to use this technology or technology similar to this, or iterate it on it, and improve it. So even if Counter-Strike isn't, your thing, particularly with Valve, they are often the sort of like the front runners, or the I don't really know, I can't remember the phrase for it, but this will influence a lot of games that you possibly are into. Hopefully, if it's good, that is. Sorry, let's continue.
With over 20 years of history, maps are a fundamental pillar of Counter-Strike. And in Counter-Strike 2, maps are getting a new look. But don't worry, you can still bring along your countless hours honing strategies and exploiting every corner and crevice. We took 3 approaches to improving maps while retaining their rich legacy. First, there are touchstone maps, classic maps with solid foundations that players can use to evaluate gameplay changes from CSGO to Counter-Strike 2. These have improvements to lighting and character read, but otherwise haven't been changed.
That looks nice.
Next, we have upgrades. These are maps that use new Source 2 lighting, including a physically based rendering system that produces realistic material.
Hold on a second, let's just go back there. Look at that. Ooh, that's pretty. I like that. I like the blue underneath it as well. This is close to my favorite color. My favorite color, I'm someone that I don't know why I talk about this, just very quick. My favorite color is someone that loves things that glow, kind of like, the radioactive kind of color. But it has to be I think it's called the Cherenkov radiation, which is like, it's a radiation that is output by a nuclear power plant, I think. And it's just this blue kind of cyany kind of glow that emits from there. It's very cool. I recommend taking a look at it, because I don't know, I just think it's very cool. Anyway, sorry, let's continue. This looks cool though. I like that look. Very cool aesthetic.
System that produces realistic materials, lighting, and reflections. And finally, Overhauls. The oldest maps have been fully rebuilt from the ground up, leveraging all of the Source 2 tools and rendering features.
I like the graffiti though.
These tools will be available for community map makers to make it easier to build, experiment, and iterate.
That's what you want.
With upgrades to lighting, player read, and materials in Counter-Strike 2, even the familiar will feel brand new.
Cool. Again, I really dig the music. There's something about it that's just so good, so crispy. So that's interesting. So what I understand from that is that they have, for a lot of the classic maps, like the core Counter-Strike, the maps you think of when you think about Counter-Strike, um, where's the touchstone maps. They haven't updated those in any way other than in lighting and sort of was it textures as well? Sort of like visually they've updated it, but they haven't changed anything else in terms of like structure or um anything basically beyond just giving it a bit of an uplift. Then they've got the ones which are like upgrades, so that's where they've actually like done some more significant uplifts. That's kind of like the one we're talking about, where it's like they've, I guess they've not changed the dynamic of the map at all, but they've upgraded it to look better and feel better, from what I understand. And then you've got the overhauls, which is basically they've rebuilt it from the ground up. Obviously, it'll still look very similar, but they've redone it. So that's cool. That's interesting. Let's move on to the third video. Here we go. This one's called Counter-Strike 2 Responsive Smokes. Okay, so this is, I touched on smokes earlier. It looks like the smokes are different. Like where I was talking about, like the bullet, it seems to be able to like deform it in a way, which is kind of cool. So let's see if that is something that's different, or if I'm just completely forgetting this functionality.
In a Counter-Strike match, information can mean the difference between success or failure. As a result, smoke grenades have become a cornerstone of team tactics. With Counter-Strike 2's new game engine, we've evolved smokes and made them dynamic. Smoke grenades now create volumetric 3D objects that live in the world.
Okay.
Now, not only do all players see the same smoke regardless of position, but the smoke can interact.
Which is really important, because I'm not 100% sure on this, but I'm pretty sure the way you could throw down smokes, you could do smokes in a certain way to where you would be able to see a peak spot, so you'd be able to see someone. But from their perspective, they wouldn't be able to see you, like the smoke would be covering you. So my understanding, what I'm getting from that is now it's the same for both. If you can see them, they can see you, and vice versa. Obviously, if as far as the smoke's concerned, anyway.
Smoke can interact with the environment in interesting ways. It reacts to lighting, grows to fill spaces naturally.
Ooh.
The shape of the smoke cloud can be pushed and carved.
Hold on, that is satisfying. Seeing it like fill that corridor in the little donut shape.
Interesting ways. It reacts to lighting, grows to fill spaces naturally.
That looks so comfy, to be honest. Like, that doesn't look like smoke to me. That looks like cotton. like the inside of a pillow or something. That looks really comfy. I really like that. I'm curious to see what that looks like in game, rather than in a demonstration like this. Like, this is really good at showing you what it can do, but I'd love to see it be thrown in a corridor in game and see how it fills that corridor and maybe moves into like some side rooms and things like that.
The shape of the smoke cloud can be pushed and carved by bullets and grenades.
Yeah, okay, that is new with the grenades.
In Counter-Strike 2, smoke grenades provide even more tactical opportunities. They're just going to look and play better.
So that's really interesting. I love the way the smoke deforms. I don't think that's something I've ever seen before in a game, to be honest. So this is what I'm talking about, where Valve, it feels like such a weird thing to be kind of really excited about. It's a smoke grenade. It's just a bit of smoke. It's like a tactical, like one tactical thing in a utility or whatever item in a game. But the thing that I'm excited about more here is the technology that's behind it. Like, that's so cool to be able to like interact with the smoke like that and be able to throw a grenade and carve a chunk out that they've done there. They've carved a chunk out, so now you can see the person in the tunnel and the person in the tunnel can see you.
Counter-Strike 2, smoke grenades provide...
And look, it's coming back there as well, so it's only like a temporary clear. I wonder if you used to throw the grenade like in the center of the smoke into like where the smoke grenade is. if that would completely cancel it, kind of like we see at the end, where, you know, next to the container here, where it's kind of cleared it all. Does that mean it's not going to come back? That's really cool, and I think
Opportunities.
the bullets deforming it is very cool as well. I wonder if that's I do notice that every time they are shooting through it, it's at like the edges. I wonder if shooting it in the middle would have the same effect, so you just have a big hole there or not, or if it's done in such a way, because that's like a thick area, if it'll like close it up immediately, so it's not really useful to shoot in the middle. I don't know. I'm just like speculating here, but I think that's a cool addition, and I think that again, this is something that will hopefully kind of feel good in the game and sort of play well, and therefore inspire future games to implement something like this, and, you know, experiment with other things where it's you know, volumetric, kind of smoke and clouds and stuff like that. Like, imagine being in like a jet game where you're flying around, you're having the time of your life, and you fly through a cloud. And imagine it being sort of like this, where when your jet flies through the cloud, it pierces it, and you see like the hole that you've left in the cloud and the trail from where, like, you know, the you kind of dragged the cloud out, and then you can turn around and see the hole that you come through as it sort of, I don't know. That in my mind is so cool. I love that. Okay, very cool. That is exciting. That's the last video that it's kind of weird videos for them to put out. Just like one about tick rate, one about the sort of the visual upgrades is obviously important, and then specifically about smokes. I wonder what else they're gonna do. They do have a website, which are on here. Counterstrike 2 limited test. I believe there's a limited test on at the moment, and it might run until it's done, until it's out as a full thing. But it's like, you only get access to it if you're very I assume if you're a content creator, or if you're playing it actively, then you may get invited to it. I don't really know though. This might explain. So I'm not gonna read the huge bits. I'm more interested in, oh, this is where I could have watched the videos as well. I'm more interested in kind of these parts where it talks about them specifically. So we already know that the bullets smoke has the ability to interact with stuff. This is stuff we've seen. Spans to fill the space naturally. That's very cool. I like that. Seep out of open doorways and broken windows. Interesting. I really want to see it inside. I want to see the smoke. Not necessarily this. To me, this isn't particularly inside. I mean, like in, oh my. Am I lagging? Okay, sorry about that. I just had to check the record and see if I was lagging. I guess that's just a visual thing on my side. I need to restart my computer, probably. Anyway, I really want to see this actually done inside like offices or something like that. Like, I want to see it fill a corridor and everything around it, because I think that'll kind of give us a proper idea of how it'll actually play. But on initial impression, this is a very cool new addition, in my opinion. So this is talk about the tick rate again. I'm curious to see how this is going to be. I don't know how, like, I don't know a huge amount about sort of tick rate and how it's handled usually, beyond the fact it's, you know, it's about the server checking for inputs at a regular rate. I don't know how they've made it so it doesn't need to do that. So I'm curious to see how that's actually going to be in practice, whether this is all kind of marketing speech, or it is a really sort of next level technology that hopefully more games can implement. Leveling up the world. Oh, here we go. Okay, so we can look at now how they've remade the maps. So this is for the overall pass. So yeah, this is what it looks like in the past. This is what I was talking about, where it's like quite bland. Did it look like that? Oh, is this CS:GO? Okay, wow, I didn't realize CS. Looking at it now, it looks so kind of outdated, doesn't it? Like with the sort of the trees and how they're kind of, they just doesn't look great. Doesn't look great. And then bam, wow. You completely lose this tower up here. They've just got rid of that. Screw that. Nobody. Oh, has it been moved actually? It looks like they might have moved this tower to hit. That's an interesting decision. No, surely that no. Maybe that's just something else. It does look like it though. Like this red building's still here. Oh, and they've redone. Okay, this is kind of cool to see actually, and they've added like a gate back there behind the fountain. But yeah, okay, this is what I was talking about. Where it's a lot more vibrant. I like it. I think it's a cool look. I think a lot of people that play this quite often may have a differing opinion because it's quite a significant change. It might feel more like a different game in terms of like the art style here. Like it reminds me a little bit more of maybe Valorant in terms of like the higher contrast. But I think this is overall a good change because looking at it before, that's kind of depressing now, at least from my perspective. So that's long A, lower tunnels. Here we go. So here's what it looks like before. Dark, dingy, classic Valve shelves. You gotta love them. With the spanner there. You know, I don't see much issues here. Obviously it looks a bit outdated, but I don't really see. This isn't as kind of depressing to look at as the first one was, long A. This is what it looks like now. Ooh. Oh, look at that. They've added some fire safety. Okay, this is interesting. So I'm just doing this so I can like quickly see anything that pops in and out. That's interesting. They've even redone this like box up here with the wire. They've brought the wire down and around rather than it going directly in. I think the biggest difference here. Oh, they've also added the sign there, which is cool. Oh, and the pipes. Oh, it's kind of interesting to look at actually. The biggest difference here, though, realistically, is the lighting. So now it's so clear, like. So I think this is what they meant by readability of players or something like that. You'd immediately see someone down here. Whereas I suppose here, depending on your settings, your monitor and things like that, they might be a bit sort of like shrouded in darkness and they might blend into the wall or something, but that's not going to be happening here. That's cool. Spooky corridor. Kind of, this is kind of where you wouldn't want to walk down at night time in real life, really, would you? Because this would be like spooky. This is where like you'd feel like you'd get stabbed or something. Definitely wouldn't want to drink from that water fountain. Hell no. Okay, let's see what they've done to it. Oh. Now this is a corridor I would walk down at night time. Oh, even a cooler Trinkwasser. Even a cooler little water fountain. Very nice. Still wouldn't. I'm not really one for drinking out of public water fountains. I feel it's a little bit sketchy. Like you don't know, first of all, who's put the mouth directly on that, or you know what's happened with that when no one's been looking. So that's still a no from me. But it looks much nicer. It's just been cleaned up. Lovely floor. Oh, reflections as well here. This is quite nice. Yeah, very nice. Very nice with the board in the background, the better chairs. Cool. Okay, that's nice. I like that. That's a nice change. Again, brighter. Much brighter. And that's what it looks like. That's what they're going for here, which I'm all for. I think it looks good. All right. Okay, so back here, this is the map. I could say this is a map from earlier. They're all the same map. Okay, so this part, yeah, this is where we first saw the smokes being thrown over and sort of collecting over there. Again, the trees here look a bit meh. Got some stuff in the background. This doesn't look too bad though, in my opinion. Like the trees aren't great. It doesn't seem as depressing as before, but that might be just because I don't know. There's more to look at, but then look at that. It's like an overcast day here, and now it's like a nice sunny day. They've built a huge kind of apartment complex in the background and this stuff in the foreground. Added a sign up here. They've changed the boxes in these vehicles as well. That's interesting. Oh, that's kind of interesting how they've changed the vehicle. They've changed the vehicle quite a lot, actually. That's kind of interesting. Oh, and they've added a bus stop. Oh, and the trees look so much better as well. Look at that. That's cool. I like that. All right, let's move on. Upgraded map. So these were overhauled maps with the example of Overpass. Now let's look at Nuke. So I think this is the map that I saw before where I was like, this looks amazing. So this is what it used to look like. To be honest, this right now, I think it looks fine. I don't have any issues with this. This, you know, it's got the color, doesn't seem too dark, maybe quite grey, but beyond that, it looks fine. And then here, just significantly brighter. You got the sort of the light coming in. That's quite nice. I like that. Ooh, it does. It looks like it's just. So this is, yeah, upgraded. So they've not made a huge change, but I think it's a nice touch. I like the reflections on the metal as well that they've added. That's nice. I like that, actually. Looking between them now, this one looks darker than it did when I first looked at it. That's cool. I like that. Let's look at the ramp. Very nice. Not much to say here, really. It looks fine. Looked fine before. Looks fine afterwards. Nice reflections and stuff like that. Not much to say there. Don't want to maybe speed this up a little bit. This almost feels too bright, to be honest. This feels like you've turned your gamma up a bit too much. But totally readable. I like the sort of the paint on the road looks almost embossed compared to what it was before. That's nice. That's a nice touch. They've even changed the tech. Have they changed the tech? Yeah, they've changed the texture of the actual road as well. Nice. Okay. Tunnels. This is what it looks like before. This is what it looks like now. Again, very similar, brighter. I think this one does look better. I like the sort of shiny paint on the wall here. And the shiny vents. Not much else to really say about that one though. Cool, I like that. And then touchstone maps. So these are the ones that they've not really changed at all, like physically. Beyond, I think, the lighting pass they said. Oh, but then look, they've added this lamp here for some reason. Like, why would you do that? Such a weird addition just to randomly put there. Sorry, I'm moving it back and forth just to sort of look at the different sections to see if they've like anything else pops in. I wouldn't have expected them to add something with the way they've talked about these, that because they said that they've just had improvements to lighting and character read, but otherwise haven't changed. That is a lie, Valve. How dare you? This is going to change the gameplay. You're gonna be able to like jump off that, like maybe have one person stand on this box. I don't think you can stand on the box, but from what I can remember, but you know, jump off someone's head, stand on the box, then jump off someone else's head and get on top of that lamp, and it's a whole new cheeky peak spot for that tunnel. Interesting. Long doors. So yeah, these are just lighting changes really, and texture. Like they've cleaned up the bricks and stuff there. CT spawn. Ooh, that's nice lighting. I do like a little bit of warm lighting there. Oh, and they've changed this in the background here as well for some reason. I wonder why they've done that. And mid doors. Okay, yeah. This is one I imagine some people might have some issue with because it looks so vibrant. It almost like looks like a different art style in the sense of like, you know, more geared towards like Valorant or something. But I really like it. I think it's very cool. I'm curious to see what the active community, what they're gonna think of it. This is a really nice addition, source tool tools. You love to see that. You love to see the giving more tools to the community to sort of expand on this sort of stuff. Love that. Oh yeah, I remember that being a concern for people. I realized. I hope you've been able to see what I just realized that it's cropped a little bit, so you wouldn't have been able to see everything I was looking at. I think this was a big concern because like Counterstrike 2 was something that leaked a while ago, where it's like Counterstrike 2 is coming, but the concern is what's going to happen to all my items that I've either spent money on or, you know, that are quite rare and things like that. Looks like you get to keep all your items over here, but they'll benefit from source 2 lighting and materials. So we can see here, it's just running through them. That's interesting. Some of the guns there, like the different skins on the different guns, there was like actually a slightly different kind of model of the gun that was weird. Oh, Yeah, that's because it says, and some finishes take advantage of these new models. Interesting. Okay. High def VFX. So blood splatters. Okay. Oh, so here they've got the. I remember seeing the Source 2 kind of Molotov, the sort of the effect of the liquid in the bottle. I remember seeing that in Half-Life Alyx and just being blown away by it. It was very cool. That's a cool explosion there as well. So you can see where the sort of liquid in it is like moving around. I like that. That's a nice touch. I didn't actually see. Ooh, look at the purple bits of the fire. That's quite nice. No like smoke above or anything like that anymore. Cool, cool, cool. And UI enhancements. Okay. Interesting. Yeah, this part I saw in the video, but I wasn't sure if that was new or not. I haven't played it in such a long time that I didn't know if that was like just something I forgot about, where there's these cards popping up when they got a kill. Accurate audio's been reworked. I think this is something to be cautiously optimistic about, because sound in games seems to be so like hit or miss at the moment. So hopefully this is good. We'll see. And there's more to come. Cool. That was really cool. Okay, there's a lot of cool like new things that they're adding here. It's not it's not like a totally new game, but it's certainly an uplift. I wonder what the logic behind calling it Counterstrike 2 is, rather than CS:GO version, CS:GO 2 or something like that. It's like it's got like a completely new name. I wonder if there'll be new maps that come with it and things like that. So it's going to be interesting to see how this develops. Obviously, we've only been given a sneak peek here of what's to come. I think the biggest kind of thing for me, beyond the lighting, the obvious visual differences, is the smoke. The smoke looks very cool, and I'm very interested to see how the tick stuff goes, and whether or not that the way that the sort of the solution they've come up with, if it actually plays well for people in different kind of like parts of the country or different countries, for example, if it's still going to work, if that's going to cause issues there. We won't know until it's tested in anger, really. So and I suppose that's what this limited test is all about. So cool, that's very cool. I'm gonna leave it there. I know this is like such a weird and random video to put up. I do like looking at this sort of stuff though, so I thought I may as well, as I'm coming back to this channel a little bit more, I want to try and just get a little bit extra content up there and see what people think. If there's anything that I've missed here or misunderstood, or maybe just completely spoke incorrectly about, correct me down below. Let me know. I'm very interested to learn. But yeah, if you liked the video, hit the like button, and yeah, I hope you did enjoy, and I will speak to you later. Goodbye.